Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Timesphere podcast, where we have timely discussions that are never on time. Once again, Scott, mostly on time this week in terms of our normal recording schedule, and then also because we recorded late last week for last week's episode, we don't have as well. I say we don't have as much to talk about. There's just bigger news stories, just not as many varied things. I cut a bunch of stuff just to either cut it down or cut it completely, just because we've either touched on a little bit or not nearly as important as what we're going to talk about today. So how have you been since we last recorded?
I've been good. Yeah, just a short week is nice. It's warming up again, which feels weird and unholy in the month of November.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm sure as soon as we finish recording, something big will happen and that we will have missed, because that's just how
Oh, it already
things go.
happened. I
Uh,
just didn't pay any
so-
attention to it because I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to fit this into the show.
well, what was it? Let's hit it real quick.
It's Steven Totillo posted something about EA, like that EA Saudi deal being in the works for like 6 months. So
It's been in the works.
Yeah, like the
they're
deal
gonna-
before it happened was in the works for 6 months. I briefly skimmed what he was talking
okay.
about in his thread on Twitter. Like, it's a story that we could have talked about a little bit, but it's like we already talked a lot about that a couple weeks ago, and it's nothing like.
Yeah.
I didn't get far enough into reading it to know if it's like, oh yeah, we need to have a whole segment on this week.
And I feel like that's not that, like, I love Steven Totillo's work. I love GameFile. I feel like that's not that huge of a story. Like usually deals like that, like, kind of takes.
They don't just
time.
materialize.
Like, yeah, it's not like the investment group woke up one day and went, "Let's buy EA."
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I didn't like actually get to go read the full reporting. I was just reading his thread and like responses.
Or maybe the sentiment is that it was like shorter. Maybe these take longer, and this was like a quick thing turnaround. Do you think?
Who knows? That's why I didn't do anything with it.
If you're listening, go read Steven.
Yeah, go read GameFile. Go support Steven's work and stuff. Speaking of which, we'll lead this off with everybody that we're using for sources today. We got a variety of sources from like PC Gamer, Kotaku, IGN, VGC. As always, go support all the games journalists we're going to do. Links will be below to all the platforms and publications we use for our sourcing today. It's going to be very messy in terms of when we shout them out or if we shout them out. So if you need documentation, all the links will be below, but we'll do our best here. So as for me, I also had a fairly standard week prepping for like some potential job stuff and the usual hellscape of trying to exist in games media as a freelancer / person that just wants to share stories. You know how it be.
I know how it be.
I want to give a specific shout out to Sports Illustrated for being assholes. Fucking God, just like no warning. I'm sure it was some back end SEO meeting about like how the domain was dragging down their like their main assets and domains and like platforms and stuff. But yeah, they found out from the recruiter for the job I'm currently talking contract work for, pointing out that the entire Esports Illustrated domain is just gone. So
did you send them your samples and they went, we can't.
I literally sent them. I was just like, hey, easiest way to like see everywhere that I've written is just like on Muckrack. So here's the link to my profile there. And she's like, I don't know if I'm just not using it right or whatever, but some of the links won't open. And I'm like, oh, let me look. I can send you specific samples if you need more specifics. And so I went and looked. My website worked. Dots archive worked. I don't have like
now.
Yeah, that's a whole. We can get into the stability of online media as for a special edition or something at some point as like a specific, but yeah.
It also just kind of feels like that's like a weekly, like, oh, by the way, it's still really troublesome and tough. But
I mean, games preservation is troublesome in all aspects. Games media.
That's true.
Games just like these digital games that don't exist physically. Yep. That are going to disappear one day, and some of them will never be found again.
Physical media, like resold physical media, like just keeps getting more and more expensive because it's just there's going to be, I mean, just supply and demand. That's less of it is if it becomes available. What's left is going to go up in price.
It's just how it is. So we don't have an AI shame corner today, thankfully. So the shame corner gets to solely host Sports Illustrated and other giant conglomerate like media companies that are just like,
Well, no, I was gonna say no. Go ahead, finish your spot.
Oh,
I
that's all I
almost jumped
had.
the gun again. I was gonna jump the gun.
Oh, that was all
My
I had
week
to say.
my
Yeah, go
weekly
ahead.
gun jump. Oh, well, I was gonna well, speaking of your digital library, there's a new way to play it
Ah,
coming
ah,
next year.
yes. Transition. Yes, Scott. For anybody who was under a rock this week, Steam is so I titled this section just Steam is going all out on Steam OS devices, because it's not that Steam is going all out on devices specifically. It's that Steam is going all out on its ecosystem as Steam OS. Because, and I put this later on, so I'll reiterate it later when we talk about like a specific one of these products, but uh this is like oh, what's the word?
Well, let's tell people what happened first, and then we can get
Yeah.
into like the
So
bigger thing. So
go right ahead.
I'll grab this because this is very exciting, especially in my household. We've been kind of waiting for a device like this. Well, there are 3 devices announced by Valve that are coming in 2026. That is going to be the Steam Machine, the return of the Steam Machine, because we used to have Steam Machines back in the old days, like these sort of pre-built PCs.
Yeah, the Alienware slash other partnered like
But
little
this is
boxes.
but yeah, that was all partnered. This is
I'll have points on
Valve
that
is
later.
making this. It is a small little cube, the kind of like a mini console, like in terms of like aesthetically a mini console, over 6 times the horsepower of Steam Deck, with a 0.5 terabyte model and a 2 terabyte model, bundled with the second of the new devices, which is the new Steam controller.
Again, another Steam controller, but like new and improved.
And then the third device, and we'll get into the specifics of each device here. And then the third one is the Steam Frame, a lightweight streaming VR headset device. So not as I guess powerful as heavy duty as like your other like your it's not called Oculus Rift anymore. Whatever it's called.
Meta, whatever. So we'll get into the specifics of that, because I went and pulled some stuff for that specifically, because it's like the weirdest of the 3 in terms of like a lot of people are like, why is Valve doing this? And I will say the coolest thing about it is the streaming tech, but it is also has a lot of really cool internal tech, and you can load up games physically on it still. It has an SD card slot, so it'll have built-in storage and an expandable SD card slot. So it's actually going to be, I don't know if the Meta has that. I still call it an Oculus, but it sounds really cool. So we'll get into that specifics when we talk about the Steam Frame, because the biggest news here is the Steam Machine specifically, and I'll start taking back over just because I'm the one who wrote this segment in terms of like flow. But please jump in whenever you have an idea, because I think both of us are really excited for the potential of this machine as people who love Steam Deck and love Steam OS and just like that side of PC gaming, especially as it feels like a lot of these PC gaming companies, like not just Valve, are trying to get more digestible for like the more casual / console
families.
Yeah,
they're trying to get from the gaming room or the basement or the bedroom. Not the bedroom in that regard. That's, I mean, hey, maybe one day. But they're trying to get into the family room or the living room.
And they've specifically said this is for the TV. Like the marketing for this is like, this is the TV box. So
if you look at all the imagery on the store page, which doesn't have a price, we'll get into that later.
Yes.
It's all connected to TVs. Oh, there is a section of like, oh, you can use it as a PC, so they show someone using it like on monitors.
And there's specifics about that later too. So,
but it is clearly like this is something they want on the TV. They want something that's small, more like a cable box or like the
power bank is built in.
Router.
It's got all the ports on the back. Like it is conveniently built to be like all the jokes aside about like this being the Gabe Cube, like the Gaben GameCube like design.
It is.
Yeah,
that is what it is.
And that's what they want it to be. They want it to be a box that is like not too big. It's like I don't know the specific dimensions. I didn't look them up, and it's not going to matter because we're not having images up or anything. But it's like probably half the size of an Xbox Series S or a Series X. It's form factor. It's got everything you need on it. It's going to have a customizable little thing, a couple customizable bits, so you can make it look how you want it to in certain ways. All the stuff is built in, so the power bank the power supply is built in. It's got all the ports on the back. It is designed specifically to be functional. It'll run your games at a specific thing. It's going to be Steam Deck Steam Deck verification is getting expanded to feature all these different Steam properties. So like Steam Machine, Steam Frame, which is the VR headset. All of them are going to have an expanded version of the Steam Deck validation
the verification. Yeah, the green check marks you see in all your Steam Deck games.
They're expanding that to fit these.
Yep.
which is cool. So, and this is the to start this off. This is a direct quote from Gabe Newell. God, what is this? He's just president. He's just president of Valve now. He's not like a CEO. Well, they can't really be CEO because they're a private company. So, president of Valve is his title.
Yeah.
We've been super happy with the success of the Steam Deck, and that will be a common trend. If you go look at any of the interviews they did with people that got to go get hands-on with this at Valve's offices, they mentioned the Steam Deck endlessly about like the Steam Deck changing the future of like how they wanted to do Steam OS and do these iterative pieces of hardware that make it easier for people to access specific kinds of games. And we'll get a little bit more into those specifics towards the end of this, especially with the Steam frame. But
I think the Steam Deck, maybe not like wildly surpassed, but I think it went above their expectations.
It did.
I thought
100%.
They thought it was going to do well, and yeah, they're clearly like,
I think they
snap,
thought it would be a niche success, and instead it basically like pair that with what the Switch already was kickstarting years before that. I think it is those two are the catalyst for like this handheld revolution that we're having in terms of like not just the handheld element, the accessibility element of it.
Yeah, Xbox just sitting in the corner in the cuck chair, just like.
I specifically have a note with a quote later that says we're not getting into the Xbox impact of this on this because it would take way too long because we've already got too much shit to talk about. So we're getting Yeah, so I'm gonna finish the Gabe quote. I
think that speaks volumes about. I think that's all we can. That speaks volumes about Xbox in this market.
It does.
I think the last thing I'll say about it is I think I saw someone tweet. It's like. Valve and Gabe have come up with the device that Xbox was dreaming of.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because it's all in their ecosystem is just there. It's there. It's already got the established people. It is the quote that Xbox did. I think Phil Spencer said towards the end of the Xbox, before the Xbox Series X launch, where it's like PlayStation won the last generation, and we lost the worst generation to lose because everybody's in the PlayStation ecosystem, and now they're trying to get into PC, which. Everybody's saying Xbox has no chance in the PC ecosystem, still doesn't understand that Microsoft owns Xbox, and Microsoft has already won the PC ecosystem because they are the PC ecosystem. It's PC,
everything.
It's Windows, Mac, and then Linux is like this niche little thing that is like custom for people who know what they're doing. So they aren't losing this, but they have essentially lost the market share already in terms of where people play the games. Because now they went from fighting PlayStation directly to now they're fighting Steam directly, even though they're publishing. It's a whole thing. Anyways, we've been super happy with the success of Steam Deck. Again, this is Gabe Newell, and PC gamers have continued asking for even more ways to play all the great titles from in their Steam libraries. Our work over the years on our other hardware, and even more importantly on Steam OS, has enabled the Steam controller, Steam machine, and Steam frame to do just that. So again, this is a culmination of the last like 15 years, 20 years of Steam trying to do hardware, iterative base tech on like different platforms and just Steam as a whole. So this is not something new. We'll start with the Steam machine. This is going to be pulling from a mix of IGN because IGN got hands-on. So this is from Wesley Impool, Jacqueline Thomas, and a whole bunch of different, a couple different members of the IGN hardware team all talking about this with like hands-on stuff. I'll mention directly if it's a quote from them or another platform, but this is specifically the general rundown of it, not specs, because we're not the people you come to for specs. If you want that, go to Digital Foundry or go to like one of these specialist places and go support them because they're doing God's work in terms of like looking at like this. A lot of them got hands-on, but comparing it to other places in the market, which we will bring up later. So Steam Machine will have quote unquote over 6 times the horsepower of Steam Deck, feature a 512 gigabyte model, a 2 terabyte model, and ship in a bundle with the new controller. It will also have a built-in storage expansion slot for the micro SD cards, just like the Steam Deck. So it will have those models, and you can expand the storage. You will also probably be able to find a way to expand the storage via USB because of all the different USB compatibilities. Now that depends on the PC elements that we're going to talk about here in a sec, but there will be probably more options to format hard drives to have cheaper ways to expand the storage so you don't have to get that 2 terabyte model. So they're shooting for 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR thanks to a discrete semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU, which I don't remember the specific model, but people were speculating that this was almost like a high-end laptop model version of this AMD chip that is like semi-customized in a way, which they don't know the specifics of yet. But the FSR is obviously AMD's version of machine learning upscaling, so it's just going to use the chip's power to and the internals to like upscale these games to play at these resolution or at that resolution and those frames, even if like the machine itself typically doesn't look like it can handle that. The quote unquote, and this is pulling from the Steam page itself. Steam Machine keeps cool and runs whisper quiet even while running the most demanding games, which is a big component that again they mention a lot. Is it's quiet. And yes, the Steam Machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still your PC. Install your own apps or even another operating system. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer? So again, just like the Steam Deck, you can get into the back end and kind of do whatever you want with it. Here are a small section of other bullet points that I thought were important that aren't specs. Works with other controllers, accessories, and PC for peripherals. If it works on Steam, it works on this. Wakes with the Steam controller, so fast wake up with the Steam controller. It's also going to just have all the built-in like super speed wake up and everything from the Steam Deck. Run Steam OS, obviously. Familiar gaming first user experience, fast suspend resume, Steam cloud saves, and all other like Steam-based functions that you'd expect. The customizable LED bar at the front. There's also going to be faceplates and some other design things that they teased. Yeah. But the LED bar at the front can be customized to functions. So like if you're downloading games, it can show the progress of a download bar on there, or you can just make it like light up specific colors and stuff. There's going to be some customizability there. And this is specific hardware stuff. So from what I read, I didn't get to watch like the full Digital Foundry video, and this is kind of pulling from a couple different sources here. But it looks to be aiming for competitive hardware capable of running against the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but with potential focus on affordability rather than direct line of competition. So it's not going to have like the same specs as those systems, but it's aiming to be competitive with them while still focusing on affordability, because they mention affordability a lot in those quotes, talking about this machine. This is my speculation here.
That's the Zoran Mamdani influence I've heard.
Yes, of course.
That's why all the Republicans are now saying affordability now because he did it so much. So so big thank you to him. But I wanted to ask about this because this is interesting that the focus on affordability, and they're saying it's going to be capable running against Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. It's not going to be the same price point as these. No, it's going to be more expensive.
That's what we're going to get into here in a minute. So
yeah.
The point here is, and this is my speculation, and then I'll add something from a Polygon piece that I read by Ollie Welsh. I think this is from what I've read, people are putting this more in line, like hardware wise, with the Series S, but that's not a direct comparison of the performance of the machine, because some of these it's like the VRAM specifically is less than, it's 8 gigabytes of VRAM versus like 10 on the Series X, and dynamic shifting 16 on the PS5. So that side of things is a little bit lesser, and some of these other like components don't stack up directly with the Series X or the PS5. But it feels like they're trying to get these games to reach these benchmarks through its specific through the capabilities of the hardware itself, at like recommended settings and optimized settings, just like the Steam Deck, where it'll run a lot of things at optimized like recommended settings, and it's good enough. This is going to be the good enough machine. It will be able to run a lot of games at high settings with those like benchmarks. But if you're playing like a newer game, it's going to be the good enough machine. So whether this is more in line with how the Switch 2 performs when docked, or like the Series S, or some mix of like all of these modern consoles, if it's going to fall somewhere between the Switch 2 and the Series S in their category and the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and it's going to be comfortably in that range, to the point where a lot of people, especially if they're in the Steam Deck ecosystem and they haven't jumped into the PC ecosystem proper, or they just want a easy to use machine that works like more similar to a console in the similar vein to the Steam Deck, like that, this will sell. This is it, and that depends on the price point. As Polygon says here, Ollie Welsh from Polygon says here, what the Steam Machine specs tell you is that Valve's priority has been to keep the cost of the device down in a challenging moment when gaming hardware is getting more and more expensive. The fact that it's offering a 512 gigabyte option as at all shows how keen it is to hit low entry level price point. This is reinforced in all the interviews that Valve has given, where affordability is a consistent theme. Valve told Digital Foundry that it was balancing cost against a spec that would be an upgrade for majority of Steam users, according to its hardware surveys. And again, part of the reason they're doing this in the first place is because a lot of people that use the Steam Deck use the proprietary dock to cast it to their monitors or their TV. So there's already a market for this, even if it's a small subset of Steam Deck users.
Yeah.
So, and again, we're gonna get. This is where we can talk about price point a little bit. I'll jump down and grab my price speculation for the Steam machine for this, Scott, so we can talk about that a little bit here instead of like doing it all at the end. My thought, based on everything I've heard, is, and there's some people that are like, oh, they're gonna try and get this down. There's the wildly different people talking about wildly different price points. Some people think it's gonna be in the 800 range. Some people think they're gonna try and hit 400 because they want to undercut. I think it's gonna be somewhere between the 500 600 of the OLED, because that's where the OLED Steam Deck is. I think it's going to be a similar price point to that, because they are like they're going to want to be competitive with the consoles. That falls within the Switch 2 plus the new prices for all these other, like the Series X and the PlayStation 5. I would love to see them undercut, just because I think that this box would be a really good, because the issue is if they go higher than that, they're going to be viewed as a cheap, like a cheap PC. A cheap, like cheap PC that, yes, is affordable, but might not be worth just getting instead of building a PC. But if they hit that $500 to $600 range, or even go lower than that, which I don't think they're going to do, again, there's a specific thing about cost and sales from the Steam perspective that I'm going to bring up at the end of this that is very important to this conversation. But if you go higher than that, like kind of sweet spot the consoles are at now, you really start comparing yourself to like PCs, because you can get a good, you can get a solid PC with better specs than this at basically every level that will do more and give you access to other stuff than Steam if you want that, for like anywhere between $1,000 and $1,400, especially this time of year.
I'll provide a quote from. This is from hardware engineer Yasan. I'm gonna say this wrong. Alda Hyatt. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. He said that the aim is to land. He told this to IGN, but this is an article from Eddie at GameSpot. Alda Hyatt said the aim is to land at a quote unquote competitive price that matches up with the value provided. Here's his full quote. If you're trying to make a PC that has similar features and similar performance, I think the Steam machine is going to be a really competitive price to that and provide really good value to it. So essentially, my take from that is, if we take the specs of this from this PC and put it up against either like what a pre-built would cost, or like what something from from Alienware or whoever whoever makes desktop or gaming PCs today. And you get like a similar price in terms of production, and then maybe just drop it a little bit because of Steam. Steam can afford to or Valve can afford to go down a little. I think we maybe get when we're supposed to. This article also brings up that Reese Elliott of Alinea Analytics said the sweet spot
$400
for the Steam machine would be $400 for an entry model with a controller. So that would be the half terabyte storage one.
Yep. And
then my guess would be 500 or 550, maybe up to 600 for the 2 terabyte one. That would be my guess.
I think if we're getting like high in the sky hopes of where this lands, especially in the current market, 400 is where we'd want to see it. I think we see 450, 500 for that 512.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, I think we see 450, 512, and then I think 600, 650 for the 2 terabyte. Because
I think that would be fine.
150 extra for the extra storage, because they're the same machine outside of that.
Yeah.
I think that is the sweet spot. I think we're probably going to land closer to 500, 550 for the base model, and then 650, 700 for the 2.
Yeah, I think it's important for them to, if they can, keep it as close to console prices as you can, because people who are looking at this are not thinking of, I'm going to get this and replace my PC. This is, I'm going to put this in my TV because I've been thinking about a console, but I don't want to give up all the games I have on Steam. Oh, this will work. This is exactly what I want. plug it in. It's sleek. It's got the
affordable box.
plates.
Affordable box with controller.
Yep, with controller. That's big.
Cheapest ecosystem most high quality and cheapest ecosystem on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So because Steam is by far and away the best store, the best like overall product because of how they operate in terms of Steam OS and all of their new features that they keep bringing to the platform, which none of these other storefronts are doing. Because everybody's dealing with they have more slop than most of these, like most of the other platforms, and they don't get every game, but they get more indie games day and date of a launch. They get early access opportunities, and they get a ton of features that those storefronts don't have. And if you ever want to continue to expand your ecosystem in terms of building a PC or get a Steam Deck, get the frame, if that's something in your wheelhouse,
yep.
all of it works seamlessly, and Steam will be there, and you can rely on
that. You're a Hoops fan, so yes. I'm gonna do the Brian Windhorst. Yes. What are the Jazz doing? You know, I love, we saw the success of the Switch 2 bundle. You put a big release title on the Switch 2.
Now we're getting into speculation. I get you. Okay.
Do they do it?
They're going to.
Do you know?
I know exactly what you're doing. You don't have to do it.
I don't even have to say it. Are they going to do it? They announced 3 different devices the other day. Is there another big 3 that they could finally...
There's a couple big 3s that they could pull.
There's a couple big 3s they could pull the trigger on.
Here's where my brain is at.
Counter-Strike 3. No, I'm kidding.
That would be the wildest one of all of them. It's like, hey, CS2's been out for like a year and a half. Let's drop CS3 already. No, because they dropped Half-Life Alyx with the Index.
Yeah.
And
they could.
That team that used to be Campo Santo, the Firewatch team, and Without Passionate, I believe they are about Half-Life. They really could do Half-Life 3. Do I think it's going to be a bundle thing? Do I think it's going to be like a day and date launch thing? I think if they're smart and they've been working on that in the background and they plan on getting back into like games proper outside of like supporting a couple and then whatever Deadlock ends up being as a final product. Yes, I think that would be the smartest play, is to drop new, like with this, whether it be at the Keeleys coming up, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But whether it be, hey, we're going to drop Half-Life 3 with the machine, or we're going to drop it around the machine, or we're going to drop it before the machine. Like, I think if they were smart, they would drop it with the machine. Whether they bundle it or not, that doesn't matter. That game's going to sell 10 million copies or whatever. Yeah. Who knows? Whatever. Just off of hype alone. You don't have to
bundle it. You can just say, hey, it's also coming out.
Like, maybe do like a special like design thing for the box, or a special design controller or something. Who knows? Whatever. Valve thinks in different ways than every other game company, even Nintendo. Like, Nintendo and Valve are like kind of in the same spectrum of like, they can do whatever they want. No one's going to ever question really what they do, because they make so much money and they're so successful and they do good things most of the time in terms of product.
Yeah.
So like,
in some ways they're opposites, but in also some ways they're like, they're so the same.
They're in the same, it's like a curve that it's like a smile curve. Valve's here, Nintendo's here, and everybody else is like in some point in the middle. Like, that's just how it works. So, but yes, I think that's true. I think if they're doing Half-Life 3 and they have Deadlock in the work, I think Valve might try and use this as a like additional jumping off point to do more software. Like, maybe we do eventually get like because we got Portal Desk Job for the Steam Deck,
right?
Like, so if there's a Half-Life 3 in the works for a launch here, do we get a Portal something, whether it's Portal 3 or Portal : something?
I think there will be something that comes with this.
Yes, I think it will be something.
It's not necessarily going to be Half-Life 3 or Portal 3. It could be a Deadlock official release date. It could be, I think
it might just be another Half-Life Alyx, like another Half-Life.
Because they're gonna do Steam frame. So that's
my thing is they're launching 2 new pieces of hardware, and typically when they launch new hardware, they have a product to go with it that either highlights the product or is there at launch. Steam Deck, it was the Portal Desk thing. The Half-Life Alyx was for the Index. Do they do both? Do they swap them? Is like
Good.
Portal the VR thing this time, and Half-Life is the console thing? Who knows? I think they will have something. I don't know if it's going to be Half-Life 3. I still don't ever know if that's going to happen. But there's enough smoke, and whether that smoke is actual smoke or just people that don't understand hype cycles just continuing to hype this thing up because Valve is making moves. Who knows? I'm actually gonna I'll quickly read this quote from Phil Spencer, just because this is the Xbox thing I was getting at, and then we'll move on to the next bit. But Phil Spencer, in response to this launch, and obviously all the speculation about like how this might cripple Xbox or what Xbox might think of this, Phil Spencer said, gaming moves forward when players and developers have more ways to play and create, especially across open platforms. Expanding access across PC, console, and handheld devices reflects a future built on choice, core values that have guided Xbox's vision from the start. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players to access games everywhere. Congrats on today's launch. I don't think Xbox really cares. I think, yes, this does change how they are going to do some stuff, but Xbox probably already either knew about this, had an inkling that something like this was happening, or they don't care.
They had to know.
So,
they knew this was coming.
I do want to flag specifically an esports angle for this, because for the FGC, people have been talking about using PC as like the stable ecosystem across the board instead of PlayStation for a while, because PlayStation has been kind of the standard since PS4 has kind of become like the home of the FGC in terms of like tournament play, especially because Sony sponsors Evo and it's easy to have like PS4s to run stuff and PS5s nowadays. But with this does potentially open up the opportunity for a cheaper / more reliable way to run stable like fighting game tournaments with a lot of older games that aren't available on consoles right now, that are available on Steam, all on one system that has the same specs across the board and reliability. So I just wanted to flag that as the homie Spinfinite posted on Twitter. PC will never become the tournament standard for FGC. Valve, and then quote tweeting the initial trailer. And he just goes, potential pros: small size, easy to transport and set up, more controller compatibility through Steam, obviously, because controller compatibility is a huge thing. No more varying specs between PC types and setups in terms of the concerns for PC stuff. Less expensive games via Steam sales for like tournament organizers to get copies of the game to run on multiple things.
Yeah.
And then there's some potential cons and everything, but like it is what it is. So it'd do that.
Definitely. I think for like smaller scale, because I was thinking like on bigger scale like tournaments, like I was thinking like for other esports too, but I could see like smaller, maybe even like Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah, 100%. This would be great for like smaller tournaments that only have a couple monitors.
Great for the amateur scene. Obviously, the bigger ones they have like their sponsored Alienware or whatever iBuyPower devices that are going to be featured prominently. But I think there's a lot to look forward to.
Now,
I think this will be. I'll just say personally, I think we will probably get this for the house, especially because we were originally thinking it would be a lot more, but after talking with you and looking online, it looks like it'll be if
the base model, just like with the Steam Deck, because I wasn't planning on getting a Steam Deck because I play a lot on Switch and I have a PC that is capable of playing games.
we would get the base model because we're not getting any big games on this.
Exactly.
The biggest thing we get is like biggest thing we put on this is like Split Fiction and then play it in the couch.
Exactly. My whole thing is that I have a PC that I can use, and it's great, and it will probably have better specs than this even when this comes out. But will I potentially get a Steam machine purely to have the ease of function of just using Steam and to test out games on it for potential articles or like it is a cool use case machine. Like this is more of a want than a need, but it's really cool. So I'm excited it exists. Now,
that's what I kind of felt like about Steam Deck. It was more of a want than a need. It's like people wanted a handheld, but it wasn't like, oh, I need to play my Steam games on handheld. But obviously, as we talked about earlier, that was a huge runaway for success for Valve. And I honestly, just based on the reaction so far, and if it's at a manageable price point, I think this will be another. And especially if it is going to come with something potentially big bundled with it, or release at the same time, I think this could be another.
What if when they launch? Well, they say Q1, so early 2026. What if this is a spring sale game? What if this is a spring sale launch? Launches right before the spring sales.
Ooh, that's if they don't have any like specific new title lined up, that's the next best thing.
Drop it early 2026, as in like February.
Yeah, before the sale. Yeah,
and then it ships before the sale. You get it in the house before the sale starts.
Get everything set up. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like
Mm-hmm.
the different areas that Steam could like go
Hello?
into
Yes,
here.
Valve. We will accept $100,000 for our marketing advice.
Yeah,
Yes.
hey Valve,
Yes.
hit us up. Valve,
Yep.
you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'll accept for this? Talk to me
Oh,
about
you are
Dota
working on
PR.
that. Oh wow.
Talk to me about Dota PR. Email me back, Valve. I don't even want free product. I want to talk about Dota with you. Please. You're having a Monster Hunter. They're getting
Oh,
me
they
back
hung
into
up.
Dota.
Kale, they hung up. They heard Dota. They hung up.
They're doing a Monster Hunter collab, Scott. And I can't get an answer, Scott.
Okay.
It's not
All right.
working.
we
We need to move on. We need to go. I got you.
Well, because the machine Steam machine was not the only thing announced. We talked about let's talk about the controller first.
Okay.
Just because that's gonna come with. I'm not like a big like controller guy, so I'll let you kind of run through like what you liked about this.
This is so if you played a Steam Deck, it's going to be the form factor. It's going to be a controller form factor more similar to that of an Xbox controller because it's got like the internal curve instead of the kind of like flare out that the DualSense has. But it is designed specifically to be the controller part on top, so all the buttons and the really fancy new joysticks that I'll mention here in a sec. But also it's going to have the dual trackpads on the bottom, but they're designed in a way that those are like bent inwards a little bit, so you're not as likely to run into them. It looks weird, but I'm interested because they want it to be this all-in-one thing, just like with the Steam Deck, to where you don't have to have any external hardware to play any game. You can use that as a mouse. You can use that as a trackpad. You can like all of your options are there. So it looks weird. I'm interested in the controller puck, which is what they're calling the charging station, because it also acts as the dongle for connectivity.
It's a wireless transmitter provides a fast. This is just from Steam's website.
Yes.
A wireless transmitter provides a fast, stable connection for your Steam controller. It's also a charging station, connecting to your controller magnetically with a satisfying click. Prefer using Bluetooth or USB? Steam controller supports those too. So you don't have to use the puck, but it is something that could potentially be...
You can use this with two. You can use it with two devices. You can use the puck with your Steam machine, and you can use it Bluetooth with your Steam Deck, or you can use it on your PC. Like it will work seamlessly with Steam, which is
or your Steam machine.
Yes. So it says uses next generation magnetic thumbsticks, which are great. Full rumble, full HD rumble. Not they can't call it HD rumble because that's a Nintendo thing, but like full rumble support. Programmable grip buttons, trackpads, full gyro control with gyro grips to like activate it and turn it off or whatever. And Bluetooth wired connection. I wanted to flag plays well wherever Steam is like a tagline for the controller specifically. And I feel like that's just kind of their tagline for everything SteamOS is like, and this was like on the page too. The Steam hardware family officially expands in early 2026, just like Steam Deck. All are optimized for gaming on Steam, and all are designed to help players get even more out of their Steam library. So that's just their marketing. It's like everything works together. It's all tied to Steam. It's all optimized. It's all like no flash, no like powder, no nothing. It's all just there, and it will work.
It all works, and it all works together.
Yes,
that's just what people want to hear.
It's smart. It's gonna be fine. I think people will still prefer to use their other controllers more, but like if it's coming with the machine, people will get it and use it. And it's gonna be a good controller. It's just weird.
It's just with the trackpads on it. It just kind of seems like, for me, this is just for me personally, it seems like it's a little like bulky to hold. Just because of the, like I said, because of the trackpads. But yeah, I mean, if it comes with, I'll definitely try it. I mean, I'm not a big like, I need to have like like I still use like the what's it called for the Switch 2 when I play on controller. I just slide the Joy-Cons into the little
the little grip, the little Joy-Con.
Get a little grip, yeah. And so but yeah, I mean, this looks kind of similar just in terms of that like shape.
Yep.
But yeah, but I mean, in terms of all those little features and settings and
it also works with the Steam frame, by the way, which is what we're going to talk about now.
Yes, let's get into that then.
So the Steam frame, this is the Index specifically, and how Valve is marketing this is that the Index was a companion to your PC. The Steam frame can be whatever you want it to be, including a PC. It fully functions with SteamOS on the hardware. So you can use SteamOS without having a PC, using this hardware to play your games It'll have the expandable SD card slot to where you can expand the storage to load more games onto it or load more stuff onto it, whatever you want to do. This is the basics of the hardware. It runs SteamOS, powered by a Snapdragon 8 series processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Steam Frame supports standalone play on a growing number of both VR and non-VR games without needing to stream from your PC. So that's the standalone portion of it. Now I'm going to be reading from the website itself about the streaming and new cool tech that's in this. Wireless adapter dual radios. It has a dongle that has specifically been designed for this device to like lightning fast stream games from your PC to this, both VR and non-VR, at six gigahertz wirelessly. The Steam Frame's dual radios make this connection even more stable. One radio is dedicated to streaming the audio and visuals. The other is connected to your Wi-Fi. The two dedicated links, no competition for bandwidth. It's got like this like visual thing that's called like I can't even pronounce this. It's like foveated streaming, where it's like it tracks your, so it has eye tracking, which is great for like creators with this, because eye tracking is a big thing. So the controllers that are going to come with it, fully compatible with every game. It's going to have the same kind of architecture that the new Steam controller has, rumble, all that stuff. But it's going to be able to track your fingers, which is huge again for creators and for specific kinds of hardware. But this foveated streaming thing tracks your eyes, and so where your eyes go can offer a 10 times improvement of image quality where your eyes are looking at that moment, based on this the tech in this headset that Steam is operating on.
I'm curious what this means for like if you're in VR, you're playing a VR game, like what your peripheral vision will kind of look like. But I guess like that's kind of like normal how we look, where it's like you're not really like, if you like you're like you aren't really noticing things in your peripherals if you're purposely noticing them. And so we'll see how this looks. I mean, I'm not like a big VR guy, but I mean, this seems.
If I was going to get a VR headset, this would now be it. Because I thought about getting a Meta, whatever. I don't like the Meta ecosystem. I don't like supporting Meta. I'd much rather support Valve, but the index is so expensive. If this is at a competitive price point, which so jumping back to the controller a little bit, you can kind of gauge that that's probably going to be in the $70 to $100 price range, unless they feel like it's a more premium thing, just because that's kind of the in between of like Pro controllers, Xbox controllers that are the basic ones, the DualSense, and like some of the premium-ish, not like Edge / Elite controller stuff, is priced in there. So it's probably going to be around in that price range as a standalone thing. This, they already said, so this is a quote about the stuff. This is from PC Gamer, who also got to go out to Valve's place. This is a new product. That's one of this is a new product. That's one of the reasons why we changed the name from Valve Index to Steam Frame, because we're trying to do something new with this. This is Jeremy Salon, one of the engineers. We're trying to blur the lines from your catalog, where you just think about you have your games. This is another device that lets you enjoy them, so I don't want to put too many preconceived expectations on how people will use this. And then, like, if this falls into the price range that I think it will, which the index was $1,000, but that's not just the headset plus the like dock and everything that came with it. They have already noted that this is going to have less in the box. This is going to be more affordable. If this reaches the MetaQuest 3 price range of $500, I think this becomes hyper competitive in that space.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because, like you said, the issues with the Meta ecosystem and people not wanting to support it. Again, having the connection to all the games that exist already, with so many really good VR titles on Steam already. Half-Life Alyx was obviously the big one that came out with Index, that I would assume would run very well on this as well. Yes. I would assume if that's not that's got to be the benchmark they've been using for testing this thing. Is like, well, let's put our premier franchise VR title in here and see how it runs. So, but then you've also have the Batman VR game that was really successful. I think this could be really special. Maybe something that I would even consider getting into.
I've always been interested in VR, like conceptually, but there's never been like a device that has gotten me super interested.
Yeah,
or in like actually purchasing it.
I felt like it needs the right it needs like the right device and the flagship game.
Well,
and I did hear people say that about Half-Life Alyx to a degree.
Half-Life Alyx, yes.
But the index was just so expensive. Yes. It's like, okay, like it's and like to justify the price of that, it's like you need more than just one game, even if it is a really good game.
So the best part about this is this if it's in that price range, has the Steam ecosystem behind it, the Steam OS behind it. This will work as a PC, so you can play other games at these high resolutions with using this as a headset to view it as a screen. So with the Steam controller, and probably other controllers compatible with it too. So like, I'm interested in that along with the VR components of it, especially since Valve or Steam has such a big VR community and big VR publishing arm in terms of like everything that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'm interested enough. This is just talking about this is like where Steam will go from here. Obviously, I'm going to bring up first quote or mention from the GOAT Matt Piscatella over on Blue Sky, him kind of like responding to a couple different posts, specifically from Polygon's Giovanni. I can never pronounce his last name. I just call him Gio. Polygon's Giovanni Colantonio. I believe it's Colantonio. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Mario, be so mad at you butchering this.
I'm sure. But yeah, he just wants to point out that like a lot of people have been bringing up like, is this the time when Steam puts their stuff in Best Buy? Are they making a big push to become one of the big three, the big four? Are they trying to replace Xbox in that conversation? And it's like, bro, the Steam Deck has sold millions of copies and they're selling it proprietary through their own store with no external stuff. They get the full cut and they're without having to deal with any of the like excess stuff. So Matt Piscatella here says, absolute. This is Gio says the very important thing to remember here is when talking to Valve and its ceiling compared to say Microsoft is that you cannot walk into a Walmart and buy a Steam Deck. You have to be enough of an enthusiast to know what it is and where to find it. That's the number one thing holding Valve back here. But Matt Piscatella responds, absolutely. But then again, by selling direct to consumer, Valve does not have to pay a retailer margin. Same kind of thinking had publishers create their own PC digital storefronts to not pay Valve a cut to sell on Steam. Maybe Valve will decide selling at retail is worth that cut, like pubs did for Steam. In any case, I don't think the new Steam machine kills anything on the console side. I think that it may end up being mostly incremental volume, and if anything, impacts the still small NUC mini PC market community. But in response to where did that other response go? Regardless, basically like they get to, without selling in those stores, they skip out on supply, like having to have like deal with retailers taking cut, deal with supplying the retailers and dealing with like supply chains and stuff outside of their own direct to their consumer pipeline that they already have. So I don't think Valve cares about like setting the world on fire. I think that like
they can afford not to care because of the Steam marketplace and how much money it brings.
Exactly, especially with how they're talking about affordability and all these other like key terms about like how they're doing things. It feels like they're just this is gonna be another direct to consumer thing. Like it's only gonna be available on Steam proprietary, and they're gonna sell a couple million. And they're going to be happy with that, and it's just going to incrementally just continue selling.
They are so endemic to the PC gaming space, and they have built up so much good faith and so much just name recognition just around like this the like everyone in their consumer base who they are targeting knows and is probably already using Steam. That's the greatest advantage that they have. And so they don't really need to like, we got to get in stores. We got to get in brick and mortar stores. We got to get the Steam Deck next to consoles and beat it out. I think there will be a degree of people who maybe it's not going to be like, we're not going to see PS5 and Xbox like sale projections drastically go down, but I feel like it'll
make an impact, just probably a very small
there will be people who are like, I've been thinking about a console, maybe I'll wait to the next one, blah blah blah, but the thing that's been like holding them back that maybe they haven't decided to get is like, but I like having all my games on Steam, and I can't play those yet, and I can't play those on my Xbox, my PlayStation. And maybe they're waiting for either one of those two consoles to make it available, which we know that's something the Xbox is thinking about. I don't know, like PlayStation is now making their games has put some games on Steam, so maybe that's something they're thinking about. But with this device, if you really, really wanted to get like a kind of console-like experience, also saying that essentially open up again, back to my original point. They want to open up the house, then keep and move gaming outside of just like your PC room where your desktop is. They did that with Steam Deck, where you could take it on the truck, you take it on the road, you could sit on the couch with it.
This is another
be on the back
iteration.
patio. This is another iteration. Put it on. They're like there's a big screen in every house that, you know, with so many streaming services and with cable getting more expensive, and the big kerfuffle with like YouTube TV and ESPN, like, and the availability crap going on there. It's like there's a big TV that maybe people are like not using as much. Why don't we get a cut of that? And so I think this will do very well. And I think, like, honestly, Xbox and Sony, I think they're hoping that
they're hoping that Steam doesn't see major success with it.
Doesn't go.
If
Steam, like what this guy was describing, like going into like taking on, like, all right, you know what, fuck it, we are going to take on the cost and the
if Steam decided to go whole hog, like, hey, we're throwing our full weight behind a console, and like not doing direct to consumer, we're going into it, like Best Buy is obviously just an example here, but like going into like partnering with Amazon to sell our like
they're in Seattle too. They'll just
exactly. Like they definitely have
they'll drive up the road and have a talk.
Exactly. Like Microsoft's going to start barring the roads in Seattle so the Valve employees can't get to Amazon. But speaking of like iterations, this does bring up potentially like the most important conversation for already existing Steam ecosystem fans about like what this might do to affect the Steam Deck here. And this is another quote from a different, same IGN interview, but from a different software engineer, Pierre-Loup Griffey, I believe, but he says, but definitely, just like the Steam Deck paved the way for SteamOS on a variety of third-party handhelds, we expect that a Steam machine will pave the way for SteamOS on a bunch of different machines in either similar form factors, different perf envelopes, different segments of the market, and get to a good outcome there. We definitely want to encourage people to try it out on their own hardware, and we'll be working on expanding hardware availability, time as well, or hardware support for the drivers and the base operating system. So that's SteamOS coming to the ROG Ally, SteamOS coming to the Legion Go, SteamOS coming to Windows, because there's already a mode that you can do in Steam if you download a specific part of Steam where you can go big picture and go SteamOS on Windows, and like obviously you can install SteamOS on a PC. So like all this stuff is just them getting SteamOS in front of people. But with the Steam Deck specifically, this is obviously the Steam Deck's not our focus today, but the same things we've said in the past, where we're really interested to work on what's next for Steam Deck. The thing we're making sure of is that it's a worthwhile enough performance upgrade to make sense as a standalone product. We're not interested in getting it to a point where it's a 20 or 30 or even 50% more performance at the same battery life. We want something a little bit more demarcated than that. So we've been working on back from silicon advancements and architectural improvements, and I think we have a pretty good idea of what the next version of the Steam Deck is going to be. But right now, there's no offerings in that landscape, in the SoC landscape, that we think would truly be next gen performance Steam Deck. So big picture here for all this stuff, and then we need to move on because we are an hour in and we're still on Steam. So but the other stuff will go a little faster than this because we're deep diving this because it's important to us. This is Steam OS being pushed. This is Steam OS going onto other devices. I can use Steam OS. I've got my Xbox ROG Ally X right here. Guess what I use more than the Xbox app?
The Steam app.
Steam. And I can launch Steam OS on it. Or I can launch a version of a full Windows Steam that gives me a limited access to a Steam OS variety on that machine without having to do much. And it's great. I have a Steam Deck that I still use. And it's great with Steam OS. Steam Machine, Steam OS. Steam OS coming to other boxes. Steam OS coming to other handhelds. Steam OS in your headset. All of this will work seamlessly. It will be the most optimized version of a PC like operating system in terms of gaming that is going to be available on so many different machines, and you will get support for it. And it's again, like you said with stuff's getting so expensive. Stuff is getting like, people are like, the entertainment is like varying so differently because of availability. Steam box, you get the Steam Machine or Steam Deck. You buy that once, and then you get access to the largest library of games on the planet, and the majority of them are going to be the cheapest on that platform. Yeah. Even at launch, because they do launch sales.
Yeah, this is them really starting to stretch their legs move their weight around a little bit. They're not going, like you said earlier, whole hog.
Yeah.
Much to the
Gaben's
relief of
not doing his like he hasn't stopped playing Dota to like be like, hey, we need more. I need more. I need another yacht or whatever. Let's like get moving with this to stores, or let's get this to a wider market. They're taking their time with these machines, making sure they're optimized and marketed and pushed in a way and like designed in a way that is appealing to their biggest demographics and like the most gamers, to make it affordable, like profitable for them, yes, but also affordable to their market, give the most value to that market, be the most interesting to that market, which is why you're not seeing, like, you saw the Steam Deck and then you saw the Steam Deck OLED with the exact same thing and like a slightly better battery. And now you're probably not going to see a Steam Deck, next gen Steam Deck, until like 2027, because they don't feel the need to rush out a Steam Deck when the like the Steam Deck I have now, yes, it's
the
not
OLED
as powerful.
Steam Deck is very good.
It works perfectly. It runs almost everything you need it to run outside of like major games,
like massive AAA,
yes,
like hardcore, like big 100 gig games on ultra settings, and like you're not doing that. Like no one's realistically picking up their Steam Deck expecting that experience.
But you know what's not a quality experience, Scott?
What is?
Jeff Keighley.
Oh man! All right, I guess
this is yours. I'm letting you get the reins on this one. I'm sitting back. I'm not even opening this article. You lead me. I read Alyssa's initial piece. Shout out Alyssa Mercante.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna let you lead me on this journey because I'm ready to consume.
Yeah, so we've had the we do have the Keighleys coming up, or the Game Awards. Usually it's pretty exciting, but over this past couple years, it's been like a little bit more corporate, a little bit more like, oh, they're really like hanging out. They're really trying to bring in, like, pushing these sponsors and ads, and it's like it feels more like money driven and kind of like some icky icing on that shit cake is what apparently is going on with the Future Class initiative. So this started few years ago. In 2020. And usually for each future class, the Game Awards will induct like 50 different inductees across the various game industries, disciplines, so writing, graphical design, sound, just essentially a lot of like young, diverse people who are trying to find their footing in the game industry, people who are working on indie titles or just starting out and things like that. And so usually they're invited to the awards. They're promised like these networking opportunities, career advancement advice. It's sort of like a pay it forward kind of program where like they're trying to find the next great game developer by giving the people who essentially giving people who need like give a helping hand to people who like need.
They're trying to highlight, like, this is like one of those initiatives where it felt like it was trying to highlight and bring attention to, like, not necessarily like the rising stars, but like people doing important work, or people doing work that is in like marginalized areas, or just like excellent work in specific areas as a marginalized person. It didn't even have to be marginalized. Like, it could just be someone doing really good work that might be underappreciated in the industry, and just like bringing them in and spotlighting them in a way that like would get more eyes on them, get more eyes on their project. And the Game Awards has gone through like a couple different iterations of this kind of idea over the years that they've gone through, continued for a couple years and retired, and now we're at this point, which back to you to continue that.
Yeah. So essentially, this is struck within their website. They wanted to highlight the bright, bold, and inclusive future of the industry, and so they did focus on people from marginalized groups, people of color, women, LGBTQ people, but going forward, it seems like now they are like, well, essentially what we referenced earlier was there's a article from Alyssa Mercante, who has been just killing it on the freelance route since leaving Kotaku. This is for the Guardian, big UK press outlet. Headline the articles, quote, we were effectively props. Young stars of game development feel let down by the gaming Oscars. I like how she used gaming Oscars because like the Guardian's a much bigger mainstream outlet.
I was about to say, like, whether that was her or whether that was the Guardian is up in the air. But yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. we'll message her or ask. But so now it appears, this is her words, now it appears that the Game Awards Future Class has been wholly abandoned. This is after support has been waning over the past couple years. As reported by game developer, organizer Emily Weir confirmed, quote, they are not planning a new future class for 2025, do not have any active programming plans for the future class program. And Alyssa has talked about this article. She was on Game Mess Mornings with Jeff Grubb. Talked about this article and talked about the story and her interpretation based on people she talked to. And this comes directly from several people who are part of the future class program that she talked to. That it does feel like early on when things like DEI and woke were like not like spark points in like this ongoing culture war, but back when they were like really cool and like that was like the thing to talk about like in 2020 and 2021, that Game Awards was more interested in having that because it was much more marketable back then and it attracted sponsors and she gets into that in this article about how a lot of future class people felt that like their program was just an avenue to attract sponsors. In fact, they had like not Red Bull, but some like big drink company sponsored the future class, and they're like, and then a lot of the members were like, well, yeah, of course, and then of course we didn't get any like actual cut of that, the sponsorship, but that's.
Well, it's just like this quote you got here from Diana Laura.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's what I want to get into. So I'll read the quote from game producer Diana Laura, who was inducted into the first feature class in 2020. We were effectively props. Once we got to the Game Awards, because as I mentioned, they were invited there. We showed up. Parentheses, most people flew in from other countries, which was expensive. We showed up, and it felt like we were pushed to the side door. We found out later that Keeley had a party in another room with all the influencers and industry people. Do you know where Future Class met that day? At a Starbucks. Another member, Retcon Games creative director Jess Negron said of that Starbucks meeting, no one from official leadership even showed up until the meetup was basically over. We were pretty bummed out about just being cast aside. Other members noted that their seats. This is the inaugural one, by the way. So like
this was like the initial.
This is the initial one when there was the most excitement and the most like supposedly support behind it. At the 2021 ceremony, several of the seats, some of the future class inductee seats were behind one of the camera risers, completely obstructing their view. This also like this kind of didn't surprise me. It turns out that the career advancement opportunities kind of just came down to career focused events like chats with high industry profile members such as former Nintendo president Reggie Fils-Aimé and Xbox head Phil Spencer, rather than proper mentorship programs.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Laura said it felt like Keeley just called a bunch of his friends to do Zoom calls. It was inspiring to have these conversations, but that's really as far as it went. So not really a career advancement opportunity. Just you get one chance to talk to a big name over Zoom, and then like, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, oh, Mr. Fils-Aimé, can I give you my resume while here?
And there's also like 50 of them. Like there's 50 people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly.
You know what this reminds me of, Scott? It reminds me of when like gamers came to us at DOT, like right as we became full-time people, and we're like, we're gonna have these meetings where you can use like Airbnb to like do all these like activities or whatever that we're gonna like spot. Were you not there?
I don't remember an Airbnb conversation.
It was like Airbnb or some company that they partnered with, gamers partnered with them to like offer like you can do like these like activities or something for free. Like you can sign up for like the selection of activities, like learning how to cook a thing or like some kind of like
it was like a weird like company like perks program, and it was kind of billed as like career advancement, but it was really just like
it was like, hey, go have fun for like in like this like one of these like 7 different like option thing, whatever. It reminds me of that. This is all smoke and mirrors. Like it sounds like it didn't amount to anything. Like even if it was like touted as this thing and then they did something cool at the Game Awards for these people, like as like an actual like, but involving them directly in like some of those bigger parties or bigger meetings and stuff, and then did the Zoom call stuff, but they were like upfront with like what it was, it would be better than what ended up happening. And now it's just probably never going to come back because it's over and done with. They don't want to market it. It's not as marketable, blah, blah, blah. Like it's just not going to go on.
The biggest thing was that like the class members just over time just felt like they were increasingly being unignored. A big instance of this happening was in 2023, in the wake of the increasing media. This is directly from Melissa. In November 2023, in the wake of increasing media coverage of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, more than 70 future class members signed an open letter requesting a statement be read at December. Yeah, this was this. Yeah, and demanding statement be read, expressing support for Palestine, calling for ceasefire. Though it gained media attention, and yeah, this was a big story at the time, and was posted in the future classes Discord, of both which Keely and Weir, who is Discord. That's what organizer Emily were a part of. The letter was ignored. Not long after, they all got into like a virtual presentation with him, with Keely. Essentially, I think that sounds like a Zoom call, but with a slideshow. They were expressing their concerns about their goals, structure, sustainability. They offered suggestions on how to improve the program and the award ceremony in general. Such as like improved accessibility options, acknowledging layoffs in a better way, featuring more female presenters. One inductee said that Keely was, quote, visibly frustrated during the call. Another member said he was, quote, incensed. Neither Keely nor Weir did not respond to requests for this comment.
Wonder why.
And so that's kind of really, and then I mean, first of all, you should all check out The Guardian. Read this by Alyssa.
Please go read this and support Alyssa's work as a freelancer. She's doing great work.
It seems like this wasn't. It seems like it just feels like the Game Awards is more about like. It does just seem more profit driven than like actually being about
pomp, circumstance, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it. It's instead of substance.
It wants to like be like considered like alongside other award shows, and be that for gaming, where it's like it's a business as opposed to, I mean, it is, at the end of the day, it is a business. Like Jeff's not doing this out of charity, and I think no one's expecting him to do that.
He's doing it because he likes it, but also because he enjoys doing it, but also it is a business. Like it is a lucrative business.
Yes. And like, but I think that just kind of gets back into like, I mean, that just kind of gets back into like the American idea of capitalism, where it's like, it's fine if you want to try and make money, but when you are just solely putting profit above everything else, you're just gonna get a worse product. You're gonna get people who are just get disillusioned with it. I will say, I will note what Alyssa brings up at the end of her article, that she has a great quote here. This is just her own words. Many believe future classes failures will serve as a cogent reminder that allyship without proper support is simply performative, and for some, not all is lost. Midnight Hour founder Elaine Gomez said, quote, the camaraderie and community that was created by bringing nearly 200 developers and creatives from underrepresented communities together was the best part of it all. Meanwhile, the official Future Quest Discord is still going and more active now than it has been in the last year or so. I imagine Jeff Keighley is not. But you know what? I think Keighley will just like leave it. Like, he's not going to shut down the Discord. He'll like hand it over to someone.
I bet they already have his backup made just in case he does just like decide to shut it down one day. Let me put it this way. This whole thing can be summed up as
X Future Class Discord Unite is what they'll call it.
Yeah, like this entire thing can be summed up as Keely did not have time to respond to Alyssa or other people's request for comment.
Yeah.
But he did have time to, I think, within the same day announce that the show is going to be streaming live on Amazon Prime.
Right.
And who knows how many hundreds of thousands of whatever dollars, plus an affiliate sponsorship with them. So sure. Lord knows how much that's going to be made. I will say I did want to shout this out. This is a segue, not necessarily into the next topic, but just to break us away from this one. Amazon Prime is now available on iOS, the app. And it's coming to Android probably. So like, that's cool, I guess. But that's not cool. I don't even have a segue for this one because this is just a little. So this is a two-parter that I wanted to bring up because both of these games got announced like relatively close to each other.
Speaking of coming to iOS.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. That's a good one. Yeah. So a Horizon MMO has been announced. And a new Ratchet and Clank game has got announced. Both of them are designed for mobile, and we'll get to that. Guild Wars publisher, NCSoft, and Guerrilla Games, in partnership, Guerrilla Games not directly developing, have revealed Horizon Steel Frontiers, an MMO spinoff for Horizon Zero Dawn designed for mobile devices first, but it is also coming to PC. No PlayStation release announced. So that's a note. Probably not announced yet. I would assume it will come to PlayStation at some point, but it's mobile.
It's a Horizon game. It has to.
Yeah, but like it's an MMO, so it's being designed for mobile first. Like they stress mobile first.
Yeah.
Playable on PC. And then it'll probably come to PC one. But we also don't have a release date yet, so like who knows? Yeah. The game looks good. Like it looks pretty. Like I watched the 10-minute like breakdown or whatever, and then also like the gameplay trailer. It looks good especially for like a game designed for mobile. Like looks good, looks functional. Very Monster Hunter, which we'll get into. Like very Monster Hunter-y with like some Horizon elements and some MMO elements tossed in, but like the combat looks pretty Monster Hunter, which is what we heard. We've heard about this on and off. I don't know if we knew it was NCSoft, but we knew that they were developing an MMO, which again, we'll get to another point about this soon. But this is directly from Guerrilla Games studio director, John, I believe it's Jan Bart von Beek, who says Horizon Steel Frontiers is a full-fledged MMO RPG that NCSoft has built specifically for mobile. You're sharing the frontier with thousands of other players, sometimes working together to take down machines and other times competing with rival tribes or fighting over resources. And that mix of cooperation and competition creates moments that you can never script. So this feels like a mix of a live service and a more traditional MMORPG with like that MMORPG element being part of it as like the tribes and the more general gameplay stuff. And then who knows how many players are actually going to get into these like hunts, which will probably be more like the raids, if I had to guess, so smaller groups.
Yeah.
For like the Monster Hunter-ish combat against these machines. So
yeah, their version of like dungeons and like
exactly like there's going to be the bigger raids with more people. It'll probably scale up over time as more people. This mixed response. A lot of people said it looks good. They're disappointed it's a mobile first thing, but that's a market. This was also revealed in like South Korea, I believe, because NCSoft. So
it's also such a like you said, such a massive market, the lowest barrier of entry.
Exactly.
Places like Korea, Southeast Asia,
and they announced it's coming to PC too. This is in my mind what I envisioned when Sony was saying that they were going to do when they invested in the mobile marketplace. I envisioned
do more live service
something
games.
like this where it's a live service, but also like a dedicated MMORPG with like a specific focus. Because like I'm not the biggest Horizon person. I played both games, and I like them. I'm interested in this. It's from an MMORPG. I also like Monster Hunter, so like they already had me with like some of the gameplay stuff. But like as an MMO, like depending on how this plays on my phone or how it plays on PC, I'll probably give it a shot and see how it plays.
Sure.
Because like the design looks cool. It's based in the Arizona, New Mexico area of the like the Badlands of this futuristic world, which I love New Mexico, obviously. So like I'm interested in like that area. It looks like they have white sands in there, which is cool. So like I'm more interested in this than I'm like opposed to it. I'm also interested in seeing how this works out for Sony from like this perspective of this being like weird mix of like their mobile / live service partnership development plan.
The success of games like Once Human, which did the same similar of like PC mobile hybrid launch, where it's like, and then you kind of keep the player bases a little separate, like maybe there's some potentials for crossover and crossplay, which you want to market and like because people care about that. But I mean that was a game that I actually put a fair amount of hours in, just because I like the grind of like, and they also had like base building and like a bunch of stuff, and I could see them adding stuff like that to this game as well.
Yeah, this is obviously the first reveal, so we don't have like all the details yet. So I'm interested in seeing this. Piqued my interest more than I thought it would. So I'm actually impressed about that. And to note, before we get on to the second part of this story, Jason Schreier also noted that just to be clear, or just to clear up some confusion I've seen, the newly announced NCSoft Horizon MMO is different from the multiplayer Horizon game that's in development at Guerrilla Games. That one is Guerrilla's next big project. I'm a little worried about because they might oversaturate. Unless that is too like much. So different than this that they can differentiate in terms of marketing and differentiate in terms of maybe this one doesn't, maybe the MMO doesn't come to PlayStation. Maybe that one is specifically for PlayStation and PC eventually. Like, I'm more concerned about the crossover and like how they market it and like a whole bunch of other factors like that, because this feels like if you're doing two multiplayer games back to back in the same universe, even if they're developed by different teams and have drastically different styles, especially because people already feel like people don't understand how big Horizon as a brand is for Sony. It's huge. It doesn't
Very
feel
big.
like it because it doesn't have the name recognition of like an Uncharted, even like an Uncharted, a God of War, a Last of Us, like that kind of stuff. But it's sold tens of millions of units. I think combined it's already sold like 25 to 30 million units like across the board. Like it is a successful, especially successful original IP from the PS4 era. So a more recent original IP for Sony that hit, and now they're trying to capitalize on it, and it feels like they might be reaching a little too far, but we'll have to see.
My biggest concern about the multiplayer game that Guerrilla is working on isn't that like I think maybe there's a bit of concern about there being too much like Horizon at once, but like you said, it is big enough of a franchise and popular enough that I don't think that's a big concern.
Guerrilla also has experience in that.
Is what kind of multiplayer game is this? If this is like just like a PvP like 6v6 like
don't do another that
battle game or like a MOBA. Like I just don't know if that would do a MOBA.
MOBA maybe, but not. I think, you can't do that on PlayStation unless it's like.
No,
how would you design that?
That's my big. Exactly. Like, and because people have tried back when like the MOBA, when people were trying to make MOBAs.
What do you mean?
MOBA they could.
Dragon Ball. I can't remember Dragon Ball Z. I can't remember the name of the MOBA that came out like a couple months ago. Is on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Let me go load it up right now. And all these people playing it. I'm sure it's really great.
I'm not
gonna know what this game's gonna look. Yeah,
that's what we don't know anything about that game. The reason I'm not concerned about it being that, because I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be a team shooter. I don't think it's going to be a MOBA or whatever. I'm concerned about it potentially being a Firebreak, where it differentiates way too far from what Horizon was. Not that style of game, but it takes what people like about Horizon and doesn't do enough of it. So it feels too different, and so it flops. Or it's too close to what the MMO is, and it goes the Monster Hunter route with the PvP, or the PvE Monster Hunter style, and it's too similar and becomes confusing.
Another possible route is that it is essentially a multiplayer version of what people originally liked, but with the things that people liked were like toned down and kind of left to the wayside in favor of the multiplayer elements. I'm of course talking about a Gotham Knights scenario. In which at its core, it's kind of still an Arkham game, but like
there's more ways this could go wrong than could go right.
That's what I'm saying. Now, which is funny. I think the NCSoft MMO mobile one, I see that going really well.
Exactly.
I think that
especially in South Korea, especially in Korea.
Yeah, I think with the market, with the gameplay, with what we've seen so far, and I was just pulling up a trailer as we were talking about it. It does look really good. I think I'm actually I have a lot more confidence in that than I have in Guerrilla, especially because Guerrilla has been doing single player games, and now it's like, oh, now we're making a multiplayer game. Now we have seen people jump between. We've seen big developers make that jump between single player and multiplayer and find success. Respawn, great example. They went from multiplayer to single player, going from like Titanfall to the Star Wars Jedi series, and that working out really well. But we just don't know.
We don't know. The good news is Guerrilla has experience with multiplayer from the past. It's old with Killzone.
Oh, is it like Killzone? Yes, I was just they did do Killzone.
They do have experience, and they can pull from experience internally at Sony too. The issue is we don't know enough, and so we're gonna cut off the speculation.
Hello, Bungie. We need you to do.
Hey, Bungie, you know that marathon thing that just flopped? Can you come help us with this instead? that might be the call that happens next year. And now we get into the one that people are more disappointed in. Ratchet & Clank Ranger Rumble is a fast-paced multiplayer platformer arena shooter. Published by PlayStation and developed by OBB, which I looked into, literally has only made this style looking like weird kind of knockoff-ish style art that looks okay but not great. Mobile games. Play as legendary heroes from across the galaxy and time. Customize your ranger and unleash your skills in chaotic game modes. Jump, dash, grind, collect bolts, and become the next galactic ranger. And don't forget to smile. Captain Quark is watching you. This is mobile only. Came out of nowhere. Pre-registration is open. It's actually playable in some countries already. One comment that I saw on YouTube said this sounds like the kind of thing Ratchet and Clank would make fun of in their games. And it looks not good. This looks like a worse version of Crash Team Rumble, which was almost a MOBA from Crash. That flopped so hard, despite being like relatively okay. But that was also not free to play. That was like a paid game, which is already destined to fail in that regard. It was a mess. It's a mess. This does not look good. This looks.
It's giving me. I'm getting Star Wars Hunters vibes from
exactly. This
the
looks
language
like
I'm hearing,
kid
and
friendly, more chaotic Star Wars Hunters. And I don't know how it's gonna play. I don't know how it's gonna like. I don't know what the goal here is. This was the part of the Sony plan for mobile that people were scared of. That they were just gonna use their IP and partner with mobile developers. That like this was probably relatively cheap to make, and it's probably going to turn a profit in some way, just because people are going to try it out for like a month or if that, and then it's going to end support in a year.
This one
feels like it. This does not look good. The duality of Sony mobile products, everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. Destiny Rising I heard was fine.
I forgot that was the thing.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, and I have a lot of hours in Destiny, but I like most Destiny fans have kind of just moved away.
Look, Scott, we spent too much time on Sony. Let's talk more about Sony.
Okay,
it's time.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's time to go dive into PlayStation's State of Play Japan edition, which is the first time this has happened, where it's a Japanese focused direct, so developers from Japan and Asia, but focused specifically for a Japanese audience. Also, it was translated with closed captions for English so people could watch it too. So obviously they knew that people were still going to be interested. But we're just going to do a quick rundown. This is from the boy, Jason Finelli, over at GameSpot. We're just going to quickly run through this. We're just going to try and like speed run these last couple because we still have a game, Scott, and I want you to play the game. But yeah, this is just like a quick rundown of everything that got like touched on. We'll focus more on the new stuff here. So Dragon Quest Reimagined, because this was a mix of showcase new information and also talk to some of the developers for a little bit. Back and forth. There was I can't remember the name of the voice actor that hosted, but it was hosted by a prominent Japanese voice actor who did some interviews and stuff. It was pretty interesting. I watched the whole thing. I liked the format. It was like 40 minutes, but it felt really fast paced, even for like one that had like some developer interviews. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was really high energy. We got a new look at Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. A slightly quick look at Inkombini, which is like a Konbini grocery store / like little gas station kind of like simulator game with like a little bit of a story. Looks cool. We got a new look at Coffee Talk Tokyo, which is dope. Love Coffee Talk. Broken, Unfollow, and Ascend. This is like a horror franchise that I don't know a lot about. We got to look there. I got a new look at the remake for Fatal Frame, Crimson Butterfly 2. Gran Turismo 7 got a little bit of a highlight. No Sleep for Koname Date got a like a new look at some stuff because it's launching on PS4 and PlayStation 5 soon, or not soon, in like February. Tokyo Extreme Racer, which is just like just another look at that. Bandai Namco DLC for the friggin' like Once Upon a Katamari is getting DLC because that just came out. Digimon Story Time Stranger is getting DLC. Pac-Man World Repack 2 is getting the Sonic DLC with Eggman as a boss and like Sonic themed level. So just like a Bandai Namco section there. Nevergrave, The Witching Curse, which is the Power World Studio Pocket Pair published Metroidvania, which has a cool mechanic where it's like a multiplayer. It can be multiplayer, and the little witch that you control can do like a Mario Odyssey and control monsters with her hat. It's like pretty interesting. Then we got a new trailer for that. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect, which is a dope Metroidvania in the Blaze Blue franchise from Arc System Works, is coming to consoles February. Dope. Don't sleep on this game. Looks great, plays great, story's fun. Really good game. Octopath Traveler 0 got a like a deeper dive, and then also a bunch of previews went live because people got to play it, getting very highly touted reviews. Octopath Traveler continues to be a huge breakout for Square. Love Octopath Traveler. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, God, that name always trips me up, is getting a second beta that will run consecutively, no more breaks. It's going to launch and then it's going to run until it concludes. It's going to have more maps. It's going to have Spider-Man and Ghost Rider playable for the first time in a build of the game publicly. So that's dope. Details. It'll be the first week of December, so get ready for that. I will be playing the hell out of that. Elden Ring Night Rain, The Forsaken Hollows, which we mentioned. Elden Ring was getting a DLC. This is the DLC. It launches December 4th, a lot earlier than March. Bandai Namco joking around about that, but yeah, that launches with new character, new classes to play, new bosses, new areas. Looks dope if you're into that.
Yeah.
Sony is launching a gaming monitor.
Oh, okay.
Sure, it's just in there. It's
Great.
in there, like, yeah, and that was kind of like their last thing. Now they're also launching a Japan.
And one more thing, the gaming monitor.
Well, no, one more thing was actually a big talk about like why people should buy PlayStation 5 because it's actually a lot more expensive in Japan right now because of how weak the yen is and stuff. So they're actually launching a cheaper version of the PS5 in Japan only, just like Nintendo did a Japan only Switch 2 that was cheaper.
Okay.
They're doing a Japan only PlayStation 5 to try and get more people to do it because just like the Switch, a lot of people don't feel the need to upgrade. Like, yes, they're missing out on a couple games, but like for the most part, a lot of these games are still completely playable on PlayStation 4. You don't need to go drop $600 or whatever. So now there's a cheaper version coming. And then to tie this whole conversation together, because that is the end of that presentation, Sony declines to comment on PlayStation 6 plans and claims PS5 is only in the middle of its life cycle. This is in direct competition to a bunch of Xbox comments and a bunch of PlayStation rumors that the next generation of consoles will be revealed and or launched by the end of next year, which is like all over the place, especially with all these like hikes in prices and like how expensive tech is and stuff, and like where we're at and like this weird post-COVID cycle of console and game releases. Like it's already been 5 years, but it doesn't feel like 5 years since these launched. This was during the earnings call on Tuesday, and this is Andy Robinson at VGC. They're translating this. This year, in year 6 since the launch of PlayStation 5, has been growing its installed base, and our view is that compared to the conventional console life cycles and looking at the PS4 cycle, it seems to be getting longer and longer. Especially with the PS4, which was launched in 2013, it's been over a decade and since then, but there are many active users enjoying the console, and they're enjoying the other consoles too. And from that perspective, we believe the PS5 is only in the middle of the journey, and we are really planning to expand it even further. That feels like whether that means there's going to be more cross-gen stuff and the PlayStation 6 will still launch soon, or they're going to postpone the PS6 and just keep going with the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. Who knows? That was also Sony Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao speaking. And then he also says, while we cannot share, this is Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Hideaki Nishino. While we cannot share further details at this stage of the future platform is top of the future of the platform is top of the mind. We are committed to exploring a new and enhanced way for players to engage with our content and services. So just like a quick way of them being like, hey, the PS5 is not going to stop being supported anytime soon, regardless of what happens.
To me, that reads like they're still working on it, and obviously they're still working on it, but it means like they're not like that. To me, that reads like they don't have something ready that they're going to like push back. It means like I do think we are a bit further away. And I'm getting a PS5. So what should I get first?
You're asking the wrong person, bud. I haven't played like half of the PS5 exclusive games.
Okay. I'll ask my partner, then I'll see what
I can give you some. I can give you some options of like what I've played and what I haven't. But like the majority of the games I played haven't been exclusive. I just got a PS5. The reason I got a PS5 is because I stumbled on a way to get it when it was like really hard to get. Like one of my local Walmart had it in stock, and I was just like, I'll get it because I know I'm not gonna be able to get one for a year if I don't get it now. And the only game I had for it at launch was that was like PlayStation 5 was the enhanced version of Devil May Cry 5. So if that tells you anything. So I will say there's a lot of good stuff on the PlayStation 5, so you'll have fun with it. Now let's just like this is when we're gonna hit like the quick hit section. We're just gonna try and get through some important news, but like stuff that we don't really need to talk about too much. It's a bunch of really cool stuff, starting with Mario Galaxy got its first trailer, the new Super Mario movie, which looked dope. Great trailer.
Great.
God, I love Super Mario Galaxy. It's like that's probably my favorite Mario. That like I love that so much. The only thing we really need to talk about here is it looks good. The little clip we got looks good. Sounds like production's going well. It's gonna come out in April 2026, and Brie Larson is playing Rosalina, which is dope. Love that for her.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're going to give her actual range to work with. God, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a coin flip if some of the movies she's in give her like actual stuff to work with. And then
Mm-hmm.
Bowser Jr. is going to be played by Benny Safdie, who is like actually a really good actor, but also a really good like actor, like a director and writer too.
Mm-hmm.
He directed The Smashing Machine and Uncut Gems. So
yes, they Jack Black referred to him as an uncut gem during the
yes,
reveal, which is
that
really
that
fun.
Jack Black section. I like the Jack Black section of the direct more than I like the Bowser section of the trailer. So I don't know what that says.
Hey, listen,
about.
I'm totally happy with them expanding the voice cast more because that means
Yes.
we hear less from Chris Pratt.
God, he's the only one I don't like out of the voice cast. He's such a nothing.
Yeah.
I also loved how Bowser was like, "What's up, Luigi?" Like he's friends with Luigi and just doesn't like Mario. Like I hope that continues.
That's how I feel about the voice act.
Charlie Day's awesome.
Day,
I love
what's
up, Charlie Day? Chris Pratt, you.
Chris Pratt's
like
here.
I don't know. I want that dynamic I want them to expand that dynamic of like Bowser and Luigi being like buddy a little bit, and Luigi still being a little scared of Bowser, but like Mario and Bowser having their typical relationship. I want that.
It's going to be a long time until we don't have to see Chris Pratt on our screens ever again. But it's also going to be a long time until we get The Elder Scrolls 6, which was revealed 7 years ago. This is from VGC. This is from Jordan Midler. Elder Scrolls 6, which was really announced as E3 2018 with a brief teaser trailer. Obviously, it was just like
it was literally just mountains and a title card with music.
Mountains, title card.
I remember that. Because that was 76. Fallout 76 was also announced there, I believe.
Yeah, and Fallout 76 has already had an entire life cycle in the meantime. Speaking to GQ, Todd Howard said that Elder Scrolls 6 is, quote, still a long way off. I'm preaching patience. I don't want fans to feel anxious. Well, they do, but also like, why announce it that far away?
I want to highlight this quote, and this is why things have changed so heavily since 2018.
I like to just announce stuff and release it. My perfect vision, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, is that it's going to be a while, and then one day the game will just appear.
I need to highlight this. That trend started in 2018. That the trend of announcing and then not sharing things until they're ready started in 2018. You know why? What happened in 2018, Scott? What happened at E3 2018? Other than this?
Was this... Who did E3 2018? Was this Fallout 4?
No, it has nothing to do with Bethesda.
Oh, okay, then you have to tell me.
So
on time. We can't do it
Nintendo Direct 2018.
Oh, okay.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate revealed for the first time, teased for the first time. I actually believe it was teased, and then the official trailer was the E3 part of it. But let's let's put it this way: Super Smash Bros. Ultimate revealed December release date of the same year of its reveal, and then big trailer drop and exposition from Sakurai later. What else was big revealed right after that? That is just now coming out, Scott.
Just now coming out?
What's coming out in December for Nintendo, Scott?
December for Nintendo.
What is their big end of the year title?
Oh, it's shit. Is it the Metroid game?
Yes. Metroid Prime 4 was revealed in the exact same fashion of Skyrim or of Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
Title card with music, Metroid Prime 4. And then we never saw it again, except for hearing that it got restarted development and Retro Studios was taking back over from the whatever Bandai Namco studio was in charge of it at the time. So Nintendo, immediately after this presentation, you have not seen a Nintendo Direct happen where a game gets announced that isn't out within 6 months.
Yeah.
Outside of like maybe a couple examples.
Yeah, it's so funny that Todd said that, because it's like, Todd, you're literally saying the exact opposite of what you're doing. So we'll have to wait a while for that. God, it's been so long since we've heard from that game. It's also been so long since the original Red Dead Redemption came out. But don't worry, it is coming to Switch 2, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and mobile.
next month.
That also includes
Rockstar
Netflix, by the way. I'm pretty sure it includes
and
Netflix.
it's coming to all those platforms I said, including iOS and Android on December 2nd. It will include the Undead Nightmare expansion, which rules. PS5 and Xbox versions will support resolutions up to 4K. Switch 2 versions will run at 60 frames per second.
And support DLSS, so you can get it close to 4K undocked.
Yeah, GTA Plus members will also get access to console versions as part of their membership. The PS5 version will be added to the PlayStation Plus Essentials catalog, and the iOS and Android versions will have mobile-friendly control options. Yeah, cool. It's not sure who hasn't played the original Red Dead in the year.
There's a lot of people at this point. There's a lot of people at this point that might have played 2, but not 1.
That's that's fair. 2 obviously is, I mean, 1's great. 2 obviously like beloved, one of the greatest.
Yeah, it's like it is like the fourth or fifth best selling game of all time at this point. We talked about that.
Yeah,
last week.
I think it's like Minecraft. There's like 2 at the very top, and then it gets to like other games, and then that's number 4. But yeah, really cool.
Yeah. The next one,
Rockstar's we're sorry about GTA 6. Please, we'll give you.
Yeah, that's what I said. We talked about this last week with the GTA 6 reveal. It feels like they're gonna try and like push a little bit harder on their older stuff while that delays, so to like kind of get people to like to soften
probably
the blow
trying
a little bit.
Drum up like a GTA Online update, like a new business you don't already have in the game. But
I'll just run through these last couple real quick so we can get through to the end here. Silent Hill F is getting a casual difficulty. Let's players skip a little bit of the New Game Plus. So like, because that was a complaint, because there's a lot of combat in this game that's a little infuriating, especially at the higher levels of difficulty, because it feels like enemies are sponges. So they're giving more people new ways to like play through the game, get their other endings and stuff. Good on them. I saw a lot of people were like, great, this is going to be like an Elden Ring situation where people are going to be like, but I beat the game before the update. That kind of stuff. Hideo Kojima and Disney Plus are working on a Death Stranding animated series. I actually have some highlights here from Deadline, and then they were via John Walker at Kotaku. Deadline has noted that this project is actually being directed by Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods director Takayuki Sano, and stresses it will be traditional hand-drawn 2D animation. It will star the series' main character, Sam Bridges, in a spin-off story where Bridges is attempting to save America and help others cope in their isolation. Summer continues.
Can't save America, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, too late. An old man is trying to realize salvation through ways outside of the connection advocated by Bridges. A female warrior is trying to kickstart a world of constant fighting. A boy holds a grudge against Bridges, and a girl has embraced her loneliness. On the precipice of the end of humanity and the world, their fates and hopes converge as another story of Death Stranding begins. Cool. Weird that it's
Say
on
what
Disney,
you want about.
But like,
yeah, that's what surprised me.
Well, no, actually, no, because isn't the Hideo Kojima documentary on Disney Plus?
That's a great question. But say what you want about this man, you will never predict what he's gonna do next.
True.
Love it. I'll probably watch that. We still have Disney Plus, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, get ready, because AI content's coming to Disney Plus too. So AI generated content will be there soon. I will also
we watched Andor. It's nothing else to be there.
We'll do a quick little Pokemon segment here. Pokemon Pokopia got a trailer, its first like actual trailer today, which is the Animal Crossing / Dragon Quest Builders that's coming out next year, from the developers of Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is dope. I like that game a lot. Launches March 5th for $70. So anybody that for whatever reason thought this wasn't going to be a full price game, I don't know why you thought that. I saw a bunch of people arguing that this should be a $30 game. That's not what you're getting here. Congrats. I don't know what delusional world you're living in. And that's not me trying to like put you down. I'm just saying, like, from a business perspective, I have no idea where you thought that was coming from. It feels like we're getting into a weird place. Like I have a buddy, I mean, our buddy Forklift, right? Mm-hmm. We were talking last night, we were playing Marvel Rivals, and been playing Dispatch. I started playing Dispatch.
Playing Dispatch.
And so he was like, I don't know if this game feels like it's worth $30. I think it should be like $20. I'm like, Forklift, we're getting into a whole level of like, what do you think I get? Like, cause he's obsessed with like Hollow Knight's
wrong.
Okay, yes, I said the same thing, but like
first off,
yeah, but wrong. Like we're at the point where there's people that are like, Hollow Knight Silksong is $20. Why can't every game? And I'm like, brother, just like the fluctuating prices and like the specification of prices for games is so beyond a point of conversation at this point. Like people don't know how to converse about that, and it's so frustrating. But moving on. The frustrating thing is that this will be a key card, so you buy the physical version, you're not going to have the game physically. That's annoying. It still continues to be a dumb feature. I don't whatever, but like and then also it showed off like new regional variants of Pokemon that are specific for this kind of game. We got Professor Tangrowth, which looks interesting. He's gonna be a main character. We got a it's like a Pikachu, so peak as in like a peekaboo, and it's like a ghost looking thing with like a smaller tail. We got Mosslax, which is a Snorlax covered in moss and flowers, which is interesting. And then we got Smear Guru, which is a like paint covered Smeargle that looks a little more experienced. Like, so they're gonna have like characters in this game that are like originally designed. I'm still relatively interested in this game. I'll probably pick it up, even though $70 is a lot for me to get a game that's like an Animal Crossing. Like Animal Crossing, I still had to force myself to buy it $60 just because I knew I was only going to play it for like a month or two with friends. But I mean, a month or two of gameplay on and off is worth $60, like just generally in terms of like a business decision. So, and then quick update on Pokemon Legends ZA. Matt Piscatella has confirmed, or according to him, he has said that ZA is the best physical selling game of the US this year so far.
Hell yeah.
A bunch of quotes where it's like, Pokemon is the biggest media property around right now. It's leading toy tracking. Trading cards are one of the biggest drivers of the entire toy industry right now. It's broken all containment for the video game world in terms of franchise strength. It's the best-selling physical game of the year so far already, and it's only been in the market for a few weeks. It's going to be one of the big drivers of the holiday quarter. Just like Pokemon destroys, this Pokopia is going to sell like crazy, especially if it gets good reviews. Just like crazy stuff. And then final note on this is shout out to the boys at 6-1 Indie for all the good work they do in terms of like they started a publishing arm. They obviously do their showcases, and they're always fantastic about highlighting the work of indie devs. But they are doing the Indie Awards 2025, be airing December 18th. It's going to be streamed on IGN, GameSpot, and 6-1 Indie's YouTube and Twitch. It's going to be live at 6:30 p.m. ET on that date. Just all focused on indie devs, supporting indie devs, highlighting indie devs. Just go. Just shout out to the boys at 6-1 Indie. We love seeing that, like, their continued success and just the work they do to make sure indie games get the love and recognition they deserve, that they're probably not going to get at like the bigger award shows. I say that like it isn't just the Keeleys that kind of shaft them a little bit, because like the golden joystick and like some of the other, like the BAFTAs and stuff, usually give a bunch of indies their flowers. So the games industry has been pretty good about that. So
shout out to a bunch of like essentially who I go to for like media and news and content. You know, you got these are all people who are judging. Game Informer, Giant Bomb, MinMax, Insider Gaming, some other ones here that I really like. But I mean, lots of great creators who are either judging or presenting or hosting. So yeah, this will be
it'll be
December
great.
18th. December 18th. This will be
this will be one to tune in, especially if you're not a fan of like the Game Awards or like the bigger shows. This will be one to tune into for sure. There'll probably be a couple.
You tune the Game Awards for the reveals and
that's what most people watch.
Who wins Game of the Year and blah blah blah. And again, we talked about this earlier. I'm just so happy I don't have to cover it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be so happy to just sit back with a drink and hang out with friends. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be night.
All right, Scott. Before we leave, we're gonna do one round of this game.
Okay.
I don't have a name for this game, but it's just we're doing over under review score edition. Okay. I have set a high score of 10 on higherorlowergame.com.
Okay.
You have to.
Oh, it's a website? Do I have to go there?
No. I'm just gonna walk you through it.
Okay.
So, because I'm not gonna put it up on the screen or anything. So, your goal, there will be two options given to you.
So there's no cheating. Okay.
Yes, there will be two options on the screen. You have to pick which one you think has the higher review score according to OpenCritic.
The higher reviews. Okay.
Yes. You have 3 chances to beat my score of 10.
Okay.
That like it'll just, and then I'll inform you about.
If I get one wrong, then the run is over. And
yes.
I start over.
You have 3 lives.
Okay, got it.
3 lives to beat my score of 10. If you don't do it, we try again next week.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. First 2 options: Fire Emblem 3 Houses or Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
I'm gonna say Deus Ex.
Okay. Deus Ex, 82. Fire Emblem Three Houses, 89. You already lost the life, Scott.
Just put the first Family Feud.
All right. We're playing again.
Kira's here with me when she wants dinner, so she's probably happy I'm throwing.
Dark Souls 3 or Doom Eternal.
I'm going to say, oof. Dark Souls 3. Good. I'm going to say Doom Eternal.
89 versus 90. You lost again, Scott.
2 X's.
2 X's. 2 X's. All right, round 3. Will you go? Will you get a single point on the board?
I'm going to be done real quick.
Oh, okay.
All right, backs against the wall. Here we go.
Serious Sam 4 or Mortal Kombat 11.
I'm going to say Mortal Kombat 11.
83 versus 68. You're on the board, Scott. Mortal
Chris
Kombat.
Paul hits 3 to cut the lead.
To cut the lead to 43 or whatever. Yeah. Bro, did you see the football game where they shot off fireworks for the team down like 40 something points?
UMass did it because they still don't have a win.
Yeah. So Mortal Kombat 11 stays at 83 out of 100.
Okay, so I have a frame of reference. Okay.
Versus Judgment, which is a game by Ryu Gagato, the Yakuza developers.
I'm gonna say Judgment is higher.
Okay. Judgment 83, so they're even. You win. It gives you the bonus.
A push, as they say.
Okay, Scott. This game is playing to my sensibilities now. You've got Judgment at an 83 out of 100, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
83 out of 100. You pass again by the skin of your teeth.
What the hell?
So you're at 3 right now.
Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 83.
Wait, so if they were the same score,
yeah, you get the pass. You get the pass.
Fine? Okay.
Yes.
Wow, I'm good.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, 83 out of 100, or Thimbleweed Park.
I've never heard of Thimbleweed
It's like
Park.
it's like a pixel art like I don't know if it's an indie game, but it's a smaller game.
I'll say Thimbleweed Park.
Is that your final answer? I'm good.
Yes.
Okay. 83 out of 100. You get it again just by the skin of your teeth. You are getting bailed out by this game right now, Scott.
This is like when you pick a parlay and you pick a bunch of players to hit their overs, and then the injury report comes out and none of them are playing, so it just gets voided.
Yeah. So you're at a score of 4. Thimbleweed Park, 83 out of 100, or Just Cause 3.
Just Cause 3.
Ooh, that's where your score ends, Scott. 75 out of 100.
Oh, I thought that one was good.
I think Just Cause 2 is the good one.
I got like, were there any? I got one. I really got one actual.
Yeah, you literally got one answer correct, and the rest were evens.
And it was like an 18-point difference.
Yes.
So like, if I got it wrong, it would have been
correct.
I think it's funny. I'm gonna play this on my own time, and I'm gonna beat your score.
No, you got to try again next week, Scott.
I have to wait till next week. Fine.
You have to wait until next week to try again, and then Scott, this will be the game until you beat the game, and then we'll do a different game.
Son of a bitch! And you know what? I like this. I like this because this will probably be a weekly segment for a few months at least.
It's gonna break into the new year.
Well, it's gonna be the point where it's like March, and because I played the game so much, I now
have
every review score memorized.
Yep.
And then I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's
the spreadsheet in your head. You're gonna be like,
that's an 83. That's an 83.
You're just gonna get the run of 83s to get 11 at one point.
I'm just gonna, if I don't know a game, I'm just gonna assume it's an 83
and just go over or under on that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Last one was a 75. Over. I don't care what it is. It's over.
That's fair. All right. Well, that's our show for the week. Scott's gonna go feed the animals. I got other things to do that aren't feeding animals. My dog's passed out.
Feeding me the wrong answer so that she could eat sooner.
That's fair. All right. Well, as always, support the links down below. Go read Games Journalism. Tune in to us every Tuesday. New episode will be out next week. I don't think there's anything special happening in terms of like special editions, but if you do, check the feeds on Saturday if there's anything else that goes up. But yeah, until next time, we'll catch you later.
Bye, everyone.